Hi, my name's Janet Stucky Smith, and I went to Bowling Green State University. I majored in international business and marketing, and while I was there, I did a 6-month internship in Japan at Todoroga Seiko, and after graduation, went back and worked in Japan, and now I'm working at the Ohio State University. It pretty much gave me the focus of what I wanted to do for my life. I started studying Japanese after my roommate ended up being Japanese at Bowling Green State University. I was in business and wanted a language that was not as common, so I started studying that language, and the internship opportunity for 6 months I was able to spend time in Japan, learn about a Japanese company from the inside, but also enough to know that I really needed to go back and spend some time there and really understand the business culture. And so after graduation, I went back to the same company and asked if I could work there, and spent another 4.5 years in Japan, really kind of sinking in everything about the culture, the business culture, communication, living there, just kind of everything about it. And when I came back to the US, decided to try and help companies that were having miscommunication about business culture or kind of anything related to communicating with Japanese or Japanese counterparts. And now I'm working at the Ohio State University, where I'm still interacting with students from Japan, groups from Japan, students wanting to go to Japan. So it's really kind of set the course for the direction my life has taken. I'd studied German in high school, and I thought that with a business focus, having German seemed kind of like a common language that a lot of people would have known. And I think that studying a less common language like Japanese, and especially in Ohio, where there's so many Japanese companies, really gave me opportunities that I don't think that a different language would have given me. So for this state and my career focus, business, I think that Japanese was definitely the key language for me. I think the most challenging part was communication, and how there's so many parts of communication that are understood, or kind of through body language or through context. There's so many different ways to say no, and one of them's yes. And so I think that there's a lot of flags that go up when you have a conversation with someone from Japan, that if you're also from Japan and grew up with that culture, you notice that flag and you know that it's already up there. If you didn't grow up with that culture and that style of communication, then that is not necessarily kind of a red flag going up about something. And I think that it ended up being a lot of reason for miscommunication for myself and for other Americans dealing with Japanese. And so I think that that was one of the most challenging parts for me. That was a great opportunity to have my first job out of college be over in Japan, where everything's new, and every experience is different, and just was ready to kind of learn about everything, and kind of open to all different experiences. And so kind of everything that was over there just kind of really jumped in, and learned about all sorts of different things, food and transportation and travel, and different parts of the company. I even joined the union over in the company. So just kind of lots of different things were interesting. Through my work, I definitely, it's part of my job, but I also was the executive director of Japan American Society of Central Ohio for many years, and that also got into a lot of the cultural aspects that my current job doesn't necessarily get into, and interacted much more with the Japanese community in the area, and a lot of events for kids and the community that now I attend as a participant, that before I was a part of planning. and so definitely still involved in a lot of ways. I think the biggest advice when you're thinking about working with Japan or going into Japanese is just flexibility and openness, and just being really aware that all relationships, whether you're a student, whether you're someone new in a career or you've been there for a long time, really play a key role. And someone you meet when you're a student, later you can go back and ask that person something, and because you'd already established a relationship and a positive one, then that can really play a role in your life for a long time. And I think with the Japanese culture, that relationship building is even more important. And so that starting now as a student and all throughout your life, just making sure that the relationships you build are good ones, and ones that you can maybe go back to later and possibly ask questions, or maybe ask for guidance, or help that person in some way. And so finding ways that the relationships you build help that other person and yourself.